If you ever go to a big audio show, you must surely come across Gershman speakers. And in almost every show, they win some kind of award. Not only at shows actually, but also in magazines and websites. I made a video a long time ago saying how incredible their grand avant-garde speakers were. And seeing how many awards they have won makes me feel good that my assessment of the speaker was correct. Now, last year I got a chance to listen to the new Studio XdB speaker at the Montreal Audio Show. And once again, almost as sure as the sun will rise, or audiophiles will always upgrade, I would meet random people at the show telling me that the Gershman room was one of the best rooms at the show. Gershman is a Toronto, Canadian company and all their products are made in Canada. Well, handcrafted in Canada. They have been around since 1993, and for those who still need to get their coffee, let me do the math for you. That is 31 years in the business. Now, one of Gershman's strengths is that they have a studio with access to real instruments, which they use as reference. Now, Gershman products starts around $3,000-ish and goes all the way past $100,000. The speaker we're talking about today is their new $12,000 Studio XdB. So let's take a quick look at the specs. The XdB has a 1-inch soft dome tweeter. I like the glow screws they used. It gives it a premium quality feel. You know what? I should copy that. And it uses an 8-inch woofer. The XdB is 6 ohm. It's a 6 ohm speaker with a sensitivity of 87 dB. It weighs 68 pounds, 37-inch high, 14-inch deep, and 10-inch wide. So it is not a small speaker. It has an impressive frequency response of 23 Hz to 24 kHz. 23 Hz is one of the main reasons people were impressed with the Studio XdB at the Montreal Audio Show. The bass, man, it could pressurize a 1,500 square feet plus room without the help of a subwoofer. How can a stand mount speaker do that? The Studio XdB is technically not a stand mount speaker. You can argue that it is a floor standing speaker because you cannot detach the speaker from the stand. The XdB uses Gershman's proprietary bass trap technology, BCT, which is short for back wave control technology. See, the bottom part of the speaker acts like a bass trap. Underneath the speaker, from my understanding, the port opens into the stand. And this unique design allows the speaker to go down to 23 Hz. You do realize the Galion TS120SE only goes down to 30 Hz. I can tell you that the bass is no joke with these speakers. It is probably why they need this big disc on top. Now, this disc is a great conversation starter. At the show, my audio buddies and I spent at least a few minutes trying to figure out this thing. After all, it was the only speaker at the show with a built-in giant weight plate on it. Gershman calls this a resonance control device. It looks heavy, and if I were to guess, it probably also needed to hold the speaker down. Or else the speaker might start dancing during heavy bass passages. See, my audio buddy Mr. Vintage also has a habit of putting heavy blocks on his speakers. And yes, it would improve the sound. Now, in the case of Gershman, they designed this disc to neutralize unwanted resonance, resulting in improved sound clarity and imaging accuracy. Next, underneath the stands, there are isoacoustics feet. Now, these have suction, so once you put them on the surface, they will stick like an octopus and no longer move. So, usually stand mount speakers images and disappear better than floor standing speakers. And floor standing speakers usually have a bigger sense of scale. Now, what makes the XdB very impressive is it achieves the large scale presentation of a floor standing speaker because of its bass trap technology, but at the same time, it has the super imaging capability of a stand mount speaker because, well, look at it. It looks like a stand mount speaker. So, best of both worlds. Now, at $12,000, you can expect the XdB to do everything very good. Sparkling top end with lots of detail. Check. The Studio XdB is not a rolled-off dark sounding speaker. The mid-range, it has a lot of body, thick, and has a lot of texture. It's pleasant to listen to, but it has a lot of energy though. The soundstage is, yes, super wide, and the highlight of this speaker is the thunderous bass. To describe the speaker like this actually does not do it justice, because think about it. Many speakers, even affordable ones, can have a sparkling top end. Many speakers, even affordable one, can have a warm and textured mid-range. If you want a wide soundstage, hey man, get a Manapan LRS for less than $1,000. So how can I tell you what makes these DBX speakers so special that it can put me in a situation where I have to decide if I should buy these speakers or should I buy a second-hand car? Now, for those who don't follow me, I've tried over 120 speakers at my place. And most speakers I've spent time with are around 5 to 10 grand. My reference speaker is the $4,000 Silverline Sonata. And every audiophile who came to my home to listen to it has been very impressed. It does everything above average. A $2,000 KEF R3 Meta or Buchardt S400 cannot challenge my speakers. Well, it's normal, right, given the price difference. However, I have compared my Silverline Sonata speakers to $7,000 speakers, and it has no problem keeping up. So for a speaker to catch my attention the first moment I power it up, it has to do something exceptionally well. And the DBX does two things extremely well. First is the soundstage. And I wonder, is it because of the fact that it looks like a stand mount speaker, which is one of the reasons why it has fantastic imaging. See, usually one of the significant differences between affordable and high-end is the soundstage is better with high-end gear or speakers. I know the term air has been overused to death, but not only is the soundstage of the XdB multi-layer, but it also has a lot of air. See, that caught me by surprise, and it brought back memories. In my Grand Avant-Garde speaker, I used teddy bears to describe the 3D soundstage. See, check out that video if you still have not yet. And the 3D feel is so strong that I can imagine not only the front, but the back of the singer. Air is hard to explain. Is it tilted up treble in the frequency response graph? I don't think so. Because you can have the same speaker, it will sound airy with one amp and not airy with another amp. So this airy feeling is not just tilted up treble. If you live with tube amps, you might already have a taste of air. And the point I'm trying to make here is that the speaker must be exceptionally airy to catch my attention, because I'm used to air in my system. It's a bit like someone eating Wagyu beef all the time. For you to serve me a steak dish that makes me go, wow, you must either have the best Wagyu cow on the field, or you have discovered a new breed of Wagyu cow. The XdB soundstage caught my attention. So the next impressive thing with the speaker is the bass. If you think about it, this speaker has a proprietary bass trap technology. Just like Meta technology in the KEF Meta speaker, this Gershman BCT technology must do something special, and it does. You get solid and robust bass, but you retain detail. This is harder than it sounds, because often in a strong bass speaker, the details in the bass region get lost in the bass. And in the really bad ones, hey man, the bass is one note. The XdB gave me the IMAX experience while maintaining nuance. You can hear the vibrating skin of the drum easily. So not only does the BC technology allows it to pressurize a big room, but it also allows it to maintain control in a small room like mine. See? Next, I like the vocals with these speakers. They have a lot of body and are slightly forward with plenty of energy and texture, but shy of being shouty. So what about the negatives? If you are looking for a neutral flat speaker, yeah, this probably is not for you. Next, the speaker, man, it loves power. I know I say 87 dB, but this speaker is like a growing teenager. It will gobble down everything you feed it. I know, I have teenagers at home. That is why I'm poor. I like the XdB with high power amp because the bass is better whenever I use high power amps. I drove it with all kind of power amps. If you're using a voltage feedback design class AB amp, which is what 80% of the amps on the market, Yeah, I would say you would need 150 watts of power. If you're using a current feedback design Class AB amp, which is like 20% of the amps on the market, maybe like the Accuphase or even the upcoming Galion TS A75, then you need at least 75 watts. The most powerful Class AB amp that I used was the Mcintosh MC462, 462 watts of Class AB power. It drove the XdB with authority and gave fantastic bass. However, I could not recreate the magic I heard at the Montreal Audio Show. Sure, it sounded good, the Mcintosh, but not as good as what I heard at the show. You see, they were driving the XdB with a $100,000 amp from, I think it's called Eon Art, okay? And I was so tempted to call Eon Art and say, hey, can you lend me that $100,000 amp? Then I told myself, hey, my house insurance flood coverage was only 30 grand. Imagine calling your insurance company, I need you to replace my $100,000 hi-fi amp. I bet you the first question they would ask, 100 grand? Is it made of vibranium or what? Yep, never mind. Now, the fact that this speaker will scale up with better amplifier is a good thing. You can think of it this way. These speakers will most likely not be the bottleneck in your system, well, unless you own $200,000 amps. The last thing you want is to buy a speaker that will sound about the same with a $1,000 amp or a $100,000 amp. Next, the most powerful Class D amp I used was from Emerald Physics, the EP600.2 SE. Now this one has a tube buffer and outputs 600 watts into 8 ohm and 1200 watts into 4 ohm. Can you imagine? 1200 watts. And for those of you who own this amp, I'll tell you right now, change the tubes to Boogle Boy 6DJ8. I guarantee you, your jaw will drop. I've tried them all. As I said, the Gershman has a full body sound, so it was a good match with this amp because it is more on the linear, the neutral side. And this Class D amp has excellent bass control. Well, come on, man, 1200 watts. Now, of course, I'm not saying to go buy this $2,000 amp to match it with this $12,000 speaker, but if you're broke after buying the speaker and only have $2,000 left in change under your mattress, yeah, this is something you can consider. Now, I find the XdB match better with neutral sounding gear. You don't need more bass boost with the XdB. There's plenty of bass. You don't need to smoothen out the mids because the mids are already smooth, and you don't need to elevate the treble for mid to get more detail because it already will sparkle as much as you need. One of my favorite combo is, interestingly, with the Schitt Tyr Monoblocks. I hope that's how you pronounce it. And with the Matrix X-Sabre 3 as source and preamp. The Tyr bass has a lot of muscle and shines with the XdB. And today I recorded the sound demo with the Schitt Tyr Monoblocks. So let's wrap it up. If you're looking for a speaker that can deliver an airy soundstage with a solid 3D center image, so solid that you can imagine the back of the singer, insane IMAX bass performance without needing a subwoofer, and a highly energetic mid-range but not sibilant, okay, then the XdB should be on your audition list. Sure, it is colored, but you know what? I prefer color over neutral. So I tend to like these kind of speaker. Ideally, you would want a bigger room than mine. Well, then again, if you can afford 12 grand, you can afford a bigger room than me. I've said it many times, high-end audio requires a bit of expertise to fine-tune. And if you manage to fine-tune the sound well, you will be rewarded incredibly. Everyone who came to my place and listened to the Studio XdB was very impressed. Alright guys, till next time.
I've been fine. My cause is not defined.